The Bates family grows again. Kelly Jo announces surprise pregnancy number 20. It is a morning like any other in the Bates household, yet something extraordinary is quietly unfolding. Kelly Jo Bates, the heart and soul of this immense family, feels a stirring that brings both excitement and apprehension. A life, small and fragile, has begun to grow inside her. A new chapter in a story that has already touched so many hearts. Kelly Jo pauses, hand resting gently on her stomach, feeling the rhythm of a tiny heartbeat. She knows the immense responsibility, the joys and the trials that await, yet she is filled with a quiet, radiant hope. There is a flicker of fear too, the natural kind, the one that comes with the profound awareness of what it means to bring a new life into the world, but it is overshadowed by a deep, unwavering faith. She turns to Gil, her partner through every high and low, and shares the news in a voice barely above a whisper. "Gil, we're going to have another baby." For a moment, time seems to pause. Gil's eyes widen, reflecting a mix of surprise, joy, and awe. The room, filled with the gentle morning light, feels almost sacred. "Another little miracle?" he asks, his voice tender, reverent. "Yes," Kelly Jo replies, tears glistening in her eyes. "I'm scared, but I know God will guide us. Our family has been blessed so much, and now..." She trails off, the words swallowed by the enormity of the moment. They hold hands, letting the weight of the revelation sink in together. This is not just a piece of news. This is a profound shift in their lives, a reminder of the fragility and beauty of existence, of love multiplied, of hope renewed. As she whispers a prayer, she imagines the tiny life growing within her. She prays for health, for strength, for guidance, and for the continuation of the love that binds this family together. In that quiet, unspoken space, one thing is certain. The Bates family is about to embark on a journey that will touch hearts, both within their home and beyond. Another heartbeat, another life, another blessing. And as the sun streams through the windows, casting light across the faces of a family that has always stood together, there is a profound sense of gratitude, of wonder, and of anticipation. For Kelly Jo Bates, this is more than a pregnancy. It is a story of love, of faith, of hope. A story that will grow alongside the newest member of the Bates family, shaping their lives in ways both small and immeasurable. The news spread quietly through the Bates household, carried not by headlines or announcements, but by the unspoken understanding that another miracle was on its way. Kelly Jo Bates, still glowing from the revelation, moved through her home with a mix of awe and nervous anticipation, her hands never leaving her stomach. The knowledge of life growing within her was a secret both intimate and profound, one that would soon ripple through the family with laughter, tears, and a cascade of emotions too powerful for words alone. It began with the older children, who sensed something different in the air, the kind of energy that only the arrival of a new family member could bring. Zach, the eldest, was the first to notice the quiet, radiant smile on his mother's face. "Mom?" he asked cautiously, a curious smile tugging at the corner of his lips. "Are we expecting?" Kelly Jo nodded, her eyes shining with tears. "Yes, Zach, another baby. Another blessing." The room seemed to hold its breath for a moment. Then came the laughter, the squeals of excitement, the gentle chaos that only a large, loving family can create. Erin covered her mouth, her eyes misty, whispering, "Another little Bates. I can't believe it." Lawson, always the singer, let out a chuckle that was half disbelief, half joy. "Well, the family just keeps growing. I guess we'll need a bigger house someday," he said, a playful tone belying the emotion in his voice. Each child had their own way of reacting. Some hugged their mother fiercely, as if trying to protect the life already beginning to take shape. Some whispered prayers under their breath, holding each other's hands, overwhelmed by the gravity of the moment. Even the youngest, sensing the change in the atmosphere, climbed onto Kelly Jo's lap, resting a tiny hand against her stomach, as if recognizing the heartbeat that had yet to be heard by anyone else. Gil watched quietly, absorbing the scene. He felt a profound mix of pride, love, and a touch of fear. He knew the joy that this new life would bring, but he also knew the challenges, the sleepless nights, the endless responsibilities. Yet in this moment, all that mattered was the love radiating from every corner of the room, a living testament to the family they had built together. Kelly Jo, overwhelmed by the cascade of emotions, whispered a prayer, her voice barely audible over the murmurs of her children. "Lord, thank you for this gift. Give us strength, give us patience, and keep our family safe. Let this child grow surrounded by love and faith, just as we have been." And the family joined her, each member adding their own prayer, their own hope, their own promise. There were tears, of course, tears of joy, of gratitude, of awe, but there was also laughter, the kind that bubbles up from the heart, uncontainable and pure. Hours passed in a blur of emotions. Gifts were imagined for the unborn child, nicknames were playfully suggested, and plans were whispered in corners about who would take care of what, how bedtime routines would shift, how school schedules might change. Yet even in these practical musings, the family's love for one another shone brightly, unshakable and steadfast. By the evening, Kelly Jo sat quietly, surrounded by her children, feeling a profound sense of belonging. Each hand resting on hers, each gaze filled with adoration, she understood in that moment the true magnitude of what it meant to bring another life into this world. It was not merely a pregnancy. It was a ripple of hope, a wave of love, a reaffirmation of faith. The Bates family, already large and vibrant, now had the promise of even more joy, more laughter, more moments to treasure. And as night fell and the home grew quiet, the house itself seemed to hum with anticipation, ready to welcome another soul into the tapestry of their extraordinary lives. Days turned into weeks, and the Bates household was filled with a quiet, reverent anticipation. Kelly Jo Bates carried her secret joy with grace, each morning a reminder of the tiny life that was slowly becoming a part of their world. The early stages of pregnancy brought with them both wonder and weariness, moments of physical strain softened only by the overwhelming love that surrounded her. Every little movement, every flutter, was a heartbeat shared between mother and child. Kelly Jo often paused, placing her hands gently on her stomach, closing her eyes, and imagining the life growing within her. Thoughts raced through her mind, hopes, dreams, prayers. What would this child be like? How would they grow up in this extraordinary, chaotic, yet loving household? Each question brought both fear and excitement, but above all a deep sense of faith. Gil watched her with unwavering devotion. He understood the quiet moments of contemplation, the late nights when she worried over small things. He held her hand, reassured her, whispered gentle words of love and encouragement. "You are strong, Jo. You've carried so many miracles before. This one is no different. We are in this together as always." The children, too, were keenly aware of the change in their mother. They approached her with a mixture of curiosity and tenderness, eager to be part of this new chapter. Zach often lingered near her, asking about how she felt, offering to help in little ways. Aaron hummed songs softly to the unborn child, as if music could comfort and welcome them even before birth. Lawson, ever the observer, would bring small gifts or notes, scribbling tiny messages of love on scraps of paper, proudly handing them to their mother. Even the youngest children, sensing the magic of anticipation, developed an unspoken bond with the baby that had not yet arrived. Their laughter, their small gestures of care, created a gentle, comforting cocoon around Kelly Jo, reminding her that this family, so large and diverse, was a unit united in love. Yet, pregnancy was not without its trials. Kelly Jo experienced moments of fatigue that made her pause, times when worry crept into her thoughts about the health of the child, about the future, about the challenges that lay ahead. In these moments she would retreat quietly, whispering prayers that blended hope and fear, tears and gratitude. "Lord," she would murmur softly, "watch over this little one. Protect them. Give me strength and patience. Let them grow surrounded by love, as all your children deserve." And each time Gil would find her, hold her and remind her that she was never alone. The family, though busy, always found time to gather around her, to talk, to laugh, to share meals and stories, to weave threads of joy and comfort into the tapestry of anticipation. There were moments of humor, too, as the older children debated what this new little Bates might be like, imagining personalities, teasing one another, and making playful bets about nicknames. Their laughter was a balm, a reminder that even amidst anxiety and expectation, life carried on with its tender human joys. Through it all, Kelly Jo felt an immense gratitude. She thought of the children already in their home, of the family they had built, of the love that surrounded every corner of their lives. And in the quiet of these moments she understood something profound. This pregnancy was more than the growth of a child. It was a reaffirmation of everything the Bates family stood for: faith, love, perseverance, and unity. Every heartbeat she felt, every small kick, every flutter reminded her of the miracle of life, of the resilience of the human spirit, and of the extraordinary family that awaited this newest blessing. And as the days passed, the anticipation grew not as anxiety, but as a quiet, shimmering excitement, an awareness that soon, their home would welcome another soul, another heartbeat, another story to add to the long, beautiful journey of the Bates family. The weeks of anticipation had built a quiet, steady rhythm in the Bates household, each day carrying with it the weight of expectation and the lightness of hope. Kelly Jo Bates moved through her days with a mixture of exhaustion and joy, feeling every kick and turn of the life growing within her. Each movement was a reminder of the miracle that was about to enter their world, and every heartbeat was a reassurance that love, faith, and family were at the core of everything they had ever built. The children noticed the subtle changes, from the careful way their mother moved to the glimmer of excitement in her eyes. They spoke in hushed tones, giggling quietly, imagining what their newest sibling would be like. "Will it be a boy or a girl?" whispered one. "Do you think they'll like music?" asked another. Each question carried wonder, curiosity, and the palpable energy of a family on the verge of change. Gil, as always, was a pillar of calm strength. He kept the household organized, ensuring that everyone was ready for the moment they had all been waiting for. Yet, even he could not fully contain the emotion swelling in his chest. There was a reverence to the day, an unspoken acknowledgement that life was about to take a leap, that their family was about to be forever changed. And then one quiet morning, Kelly Jo felt the unmistakable signs, the culmination of weeks of waiting, the final steps in a journey of love, faith, and endurance. The moment had arrived. The household moved with purposeful energy, but there was no panic, only a shared understanding, a deep, abiding love that bound them together. The children gathered close, holding hands, whispering prayers, and offering words of encouragement. Some tried to keep their laughter and excitement at bay, while others could not contain their tears. There was a mixture of awe and wonder, as if every heart in the house was aware of the gravity and beauty of this moment. Kelly Jo, in the midst of the physical strain and emotional intensity, found strength in the love surrounding her. She felt the hands of her husband, the prayers of her children, and the quiet, steady guidance of faith that had carried her through every challenge before. "We are ready," she whispered, her voice strong despite the tremor of emotion. "We are ready to welcome you, little one." Time seemed to stretch and compress all at once. Each heartbeat, each breath, each whispered word of love became monumental. The household held its collective breath, united in anticipation and wonder. And then, with the gentle strength of life and the tender care of a family bound by love, the newest Bates arrived. Tears flowed freely. Laughter and sobs intertwined, echoing through the house like a symphony of pure, human emotion. Kelly Jo held her child close, feeling the tiny heartbeat that had been a whisper for weeks now pressed against her chest. Gil's eyes glistened as he leaned over, pressing a kiss to her forehead, murmuring words of gratitude and awe. The children gathered around, their faces glowing with joy, each one eager to welcome the newest member of the family. "Welcome to the family," one whispered. "We've been waiting for you," another said, a soft smile lighting up their tear-streaked face. In that moment, the Bates household was more than just a home. It was a sanctuary of love, a testament to faith, a celebration of life. Every struggle, every prayer, every moment of anticipation had led to this. And as Kelly Jo looked around at the faces of her husband and children, she knew something profound. This was the essence of family, the miracle of connection, the unbreakable bond that would carry them forward. Another heartbeat, another life, another story. The Bates family had grown, yet somehow, the love and joy multiplied rather than divided. And in that quiet, overwhelming beauty, they understood what it truly meant to be blessed beyond measure. The Bates home once again was alive with the gentle rhythm of life. The newest member of the family slept peacefully in Kelly Jo's arms, their tiny breaths a soft whisper of promise and hope. Around them, the household hummed with a warmth that only a family united in love can know. Every corner of the house seemed to radiate gratitude, joy, and the quiet satisfaction that comes from witnessing a miracle unfold. Kelly Jo, holding her child close, could hardly believe the journey that had led to this moment. Weeks of anticipation, moments of worry, Countless prayers and endless love had culminated in a small, perfect heartbeat pressed against her chest. She looked at Gil, whose eyes shone with a mixture of pride, relief, and awe. "We did it," he whispered softly, as if the words alone could carry the enormity of the day. "We've been blessed again." The older children gathered, their eyes wide with wonder and excitement. Each one reached out, some gently touching the tiny hand of their new sibling, others whispering their first words of welcome. Zach held the baby carefully, a reverence in his movements that made everyone smile. Aaron hummed a soft lullaby, and Lawson offered a quiet prayer of gratitude, each note a reflection of the love that permeated their home. Even the younger children, curious and tender, crowded close, their little hands brushing against their new sibling, their laughter mingling with soft tears. Tori whispered softly, "You're going to be loved so much. Our family is bigger now, but our hearts are even bigger." Kelly Jo felt a deep, almost overwhelming sense of connection. She realized, in a way words could hardly capture, that this child was not just a new life. It was a symbol of faith, perseverance, and the unbreakable bonds that held the family together. Every struggle, every sleepless night, every tear of joy or worry had led to this moment of pure grace. The day passed in a blur of quiet conversations, gentle laughter, and shared meals. Gifts were presented, nicknames were suggested, and stories of the past mingled seamlessly with hopes for the future. It was ordinary life, yet every moment was extraordinary because it was filled with love, gratitude, and presence. In the evening, the family gathered together, holding hands, circling around Kelly Jo and the baby. Words were whispered, prayers offered, hearts joined in unity. There was no need for grandeur or ceremony. The blessing of life itself was enough. Gil spoke softly, voice choked with emotion. "Each of you, every child, every heartbeat, every moment. You are my greatest blessing. And now this little one joins our story. We are complete, but our love grows without end." Kelly Jo closed her eyes, tears slipping down her cheeks, a smile breaking through. She felt the pulse of the house, the gentle rhythm of every member of the family, and she understood something profoundly simple and true. Life was fragile, love was eternal, and faith had carried them through. As the night deepened and the household settled into quiet comfort, the baby rested in Kelly Jo's arms, surrounded by the warmth of siblings, the steady presence of Gil, and the boundless love that had defined their lives. In that stillness, one truth was undeniable. The Bates family was not just a collection of individuals, but a living testament to hope, unity, and the miracles that can unfold when love and faith guide every step. Another life, another blessing, another chapter added to the extraordinary story of the Bates family. And in that quiet, simple, profoundly human moment, they knew this was what it truly meant to be home. Days turned into weeks, and the Bates household settled into a rhythm both familiar and new. The newest little one had found their place among the 19 hearts already beating within the family. Kelly Jo watched as her children interacted with the baby. The way Zach gently guided the younger ones, how Aaron hummed lullabies that soothed every worry, how Lawson quietly offered little acts of care and humor. Each gesture was a thread, weaving the fabric of a family that was vast in number yet intimate in love. Kelly Jo often sat quietly, reflecting on the journey that had led them here. She remembered the early moments of fear and uncertainty, the quiet mornings filled with prayer, the flutters of worry that tugged at her heart. She remembered sharing the news with Gil, the way his eyes filled with wonder, the steady strength in his hands. And now, as she watched her children laugh, argue playfully, and embrace one another with tenderness, she felt the profound truth of what she had always known. Family is not just about numbers, but about love multiplied, resilience nurtured, and faith lived every day. Gil, too, found himself reflecting on the miracle of their life together. He marveled at the strength of his wife, at the extraordinary patience and grace with which she carried not only the new life, but every challenge that had come before. He looked at each child, recognizing the beauty of their growth, their kindness, their faith, their laughter, and he realized that the home they had built was more than just walls and rooms. It was a sanctuary, a place where love and understanding were not merely spoken but lived, day in and day out. The children, in their own ways, had matured as well. The excitement and curiosity that had accompanied the news of the pregnancy had evolved into gentle care, small acts of responsibility, and an awareness of the miracle that had joined them. Each one seemed to understand instinctively the value of being part of something larger than themselves, of being a part of a family bound by faith, devotion, and unwavering love. Even the youngest, once unaware of the depth of such bonds, now reached out instinctively, holding hands, offering soft touches, and sharing quiet moments with the baby. The home was alive with whispers of gratitude, laughter, prayers, and the unspoken understanding that life, with all its unpredictability, had been extraordinarily kind to them. Kelly Jo and Gil often shared quiet conversations late at night, the house finally at rest, reflecting on the blessings they had received and the challenges they had overcome. Each child, each heartbeat, each tear, each smile, Kelly Jo said softly, has brought us here. And now this newest little one. It feels like the circle of love just grew even wider. Gil nodded, voice thick with emotion. Our story is long, our days sometimes chaotic, but the love we share, it's unbreakable. Every struggle, every moment of joy, every prayer. It brought us here, and it will carry us forward. And so the Bates household thrived, not because life was perfect, not because there were never challenges, but because love, faith, and unity were stronger than any difficulty. Every meal shared, every song hummed, every prayer whispered, every laugh and tear. Each was a testament to the extraordinary strength of this family. In these moments, Kelly Jo realized something profound. The miracles were not only in the birth of a child, but in the daily acts of care, in the bonds nurtured, in the laughter shared, and in the quiet prayers that held them together. Each day, each moment, each heartbeat reaffirmed what they had always known. Family is the truest form of grace, and love, when nurtured with faith, is infinite. The Bates family had grown once again. Yet the love they shared had expanded, embracing each new life, each new challenge, and each new joy. And as the evening sun cast a gentle glow over their home, the house pulsed softly with warmth, laughter, and the unmistakable presence of a family who had learned the extraordinary truth that together with faith and love, there is no limit to the miracles they could embrace. The Bates household had never felt more alive, yet never more serene. The newest member of the family slept peacefully in Kelly Jo's arms, a tiny miracle cradled against a mother's heart that had already known so much love, so much devotion, so much prayer. Every heartbeat, every breath, every soft sigh of the child echoed through the home like a tender reminder. Life, in all its fragility and wonder, is a gift beyond measure. Kelly Jo looked around at the faces that had defined her world, her children, all grown in their own ways, their eyes shining with wonder and affection, their hands resting on her shoulders or clasped together in silent prayer. She looked at Gil, whose presence had always been her anchor, whose love had carried them through every challenge, every joy, every tear. And in that glance, in that shared, unspoken understanding, she saw the extraordinary beauty of a life built on faith, perseverance, and unbreakable love. Tears flowed freely as the family gathered close. The older children whispered soft words of welcome to their new sibling, a chorus of excitement, laughter, and gentle reassurance. "We've been waiting for you," Zach said, his voice full of awe. Aaron hummed a quiet lullaby, her melody threading through the room like a prayer. Lawson folded his hands, whispering thanks for the blessing of life, for the love that had carried them all through countless days, both ordinary and extraordinary. Even the youngest children pressed close, offering small gestures of care, their tiny hands brushing against the child as if sensing the weight of this miracle. Every glance, every touch, every soft word was infused with an unspoken promise. Love would always protect, always nurture, always endure. Gil knelt beside Kelly Jo, eyes glistening. "Jo," he whispered, voice thick with emotion. This family, this life, this love, it's everything. And now we are even more blessed. We are complete." Kelly Jo held the baby tighter, feeling the warmth, the rhythm, the miraculous heartbeat that had been a secret for so long. "We are," she replied, tears slipping down her cheeks. "And it's all because of faith and hope, and the love that surrounds us every single day." The family joined hands, circling around the newest life, whispering words of gratitude and prayer. No words could fully capture the enormity of the moment. It was a quiet symphony of hearts beating together, of souls intertwined, of love made tangible in the gentle rise and fall of a tiny chest. In that stillness, Kelly Jo understood something she had always known but now felt more deeply than ever. Miracles are not only in the birth of a child, but in every laugh shared, every tear shed, every prayer offered, every hand held. Love is the true miracle, and in this house it was infinite. Night fell over the Bates home, and a soft glow from the windows spilled onto the quiet street outside. Inside, the family rested, bound by bonds stronger than blood alone, by devotion deeper than words, by the purest faith and love. The house, once full of anticipation, now resonated with fulfillment, with joy, with the undeniable truth that life, with all its challenges and blessings, had delivered its most precious gift yet. Another heartbeat, another story, another blessing added to the tapestry of the Bates family. And in that profound silence, broken only by soft breaths and whispered prayers, they understood. They were not just a family. They were a home, a sanctuary built on love, on faith, on unity, and with every passing day they would continue to grow, to cherish, and to embrace the miracles that life would bring. Because in the end, love had always been their guide. Faith had always been their anchor. And together the Bates family would face every dawn with hearts wide open, ready to welcome every blessing, every challenge, every moment of joy, knowing that the greatest miracle of all was the life they shared together.